Welcome to Revenge by Eve. Lean back, relax, and let today's story unfold.
I was sitting in the boardroom watching my business partner present his revolutionary software to investors. The same software I'd coded alone in my garage for 18 months while he told everyone I was just his assistant. Before this story goes any further, tell me, would you have exposed him right there or done what I did? And as you listen, comment where you're listening from. I read everyone. My name is Eve Winters, and 5 years ago I thought I'd found the perfect business partner. I was 29, a self-taught software engineer working freelance projects from my apartment in Seattle. I'd taught myself to code at 22, spending nights after my day job as a receptionist, watching tutorials and building small applications. By my late 20s, I was getting steady contract work, but I wanted more. I wanted to build something that mattered. That's when I met Nathan Cross. We were introduced through a mutual friend at a tech networking event. Nathan was 34, charismatic in that effortless way some people are, with an MBA from a prestigious business school and 5 years' experience in tech sales. He had the polish I lacked, the confidence to work a room, the vocabulary of venture capital, the connections to angel investors. You're technical, I'm business, he said over coffee after that first meeting. We'd make a great team. I'd been working on a concept for months, an AI-powered project management tool that could predict bottlenecks and resource needs before they became problems. It was ambitious, complex, and I believed in it completely. I can build it, I told Nathan, but I don't know how to sell it. I don't have the network. That's exactly what I bring to the table, he said, flashing that confident smile. You build it, I'll sell it. 50-50 partnership. We formalized the arrangement with a handshake and a simple partnership agreement Nathan drafted. Looking back, I should have hired a lawyer. But I was naive, excited, and honestly a bit dazzled by Nathan's confidence and connections. For the first 6 months, things felt balanced. I'd work 80-hour weeks coding in my garage apartment, surviving on coffee and takeout. Nathan would take meetings with potential investors, send me updates, talk about strategy. Just focus on the build, he'd tell me. That's your genius. Let me handle the business side. I trusted him completely. When he asked to be the face of pitches because investors respond better to someone with business credentials, I agreed. When he suggested we keep our roles separate, him handling all investor communication, me focusing purely on development, it made sense. We'd meet weekly at a coffee shop near his downtown loft. He'd update me on meetings. I'd show him progress on the software. He always seemed impressed, encouraging, supportive. This is incredible, Eve. You're building something revolutionary. His praise meant everything to me. I was so deep in the code, so isolated in my work, that his validation felt like proof I wasn't wasting my time. I didn't have much of a social life during this period. My friends from my receptionist days had drifted away. And my family, just my mom and younger brother in Spokane, thought I was crazy for leaving a stable job to chase a tech dream. Nathan became my primary social connection. Not romantic, but close. He'd take me to networking events occasionally, though he'd usually introduce me vaguely as part of my team, rather than as his co-founder. It's easier to have one clear spokesperson, he explained. Investors get confused with multiple voices. I accepted that. I was the technical one. He was the business one. Division of labor. Our partnership agreement stated we'd split equity 50-50 and make major decisions together. We'd incorporated as tech-forward solutions with both of us as equal partners on paper. On paper. The first warning sign came about 8 months into development. I'd been working on a particularly complex algorithm for 3 weeks straight, barely sleeping. I finally cracked it and excitedly called Nathan. I figured out the predictive model. It's working even better than I hoped. We need to file for the patent. That's great, I'll handle the patent paperwork. I can help. I need to review the technical specifications. Eve, you're drowning in code. Let me take this off your plate. You focus on finishing the build. I was drowning in code. and I trusted Nathan to handle the legal stuff. 2 weeks later, I asked about the patent filing. It's in process. These things take time. Don't worry about it. I didn't press. I had too much else to worry about. Around this time, Nathan started being less available for our weekly check-ins. I'm in back-to-back investor meetings, he'd text. Can we push our coffee to next week? Next week would become the week after. Our regular touchpoints became sporadic. When we did meet, Nathan seemed distracted, always on his phone, cutting our meetings short. Sorry, I have another call. This is looking great, though. Keep pushing. I started feeling isolated. I was working alone in my garage for months at a time with minimal feedback, minimal connection to the business side. When I'd ask specific questions about investors or timeline, Nathan would be vague. I'm talking to several VCs. There's a lot of interest. Just keep building. I also started noticing that when Nathan did introduce me at events, the language was changing. This is Eve. She does the coding for my project. Not my co-founder. Not my partner. She does the coding. When I mentioned this, he laughed it off. It's just shorthand. Everyone knows you're essential. But did they? Did anyone in Nathan's investor network know I existed as an equal partner? I pushed the doubt down. I was being paranoid. Nathan was out there selling our vision while I built it. That was the arrangement. Still, I started feeling less like a co-founder and more like a contractor. The situation escalated over the next 6 months in ways that eroded my confidence and agency. Nathan started making decisions without consulting me. I've scheduled a demo for potential investors in 3 weeks. Can you have the dashboard ready? 3 weeks? Nathan, that's not enough time. We agreed on a timeline. The investor's schedule doesn't care about our timeline. This is a huge opportunity. You should have asked me before committing. I'm the business lead, Eve. This is literally my job. Just make it happen. I'd work impossible hours to meet deadlines I hadn't agreed to satisfy investors I'd never spoken to. Nathan also started speaking about the company differently. My software. My vision. My company. When I'd correct him, "Don't you mean our company?" He'd wave it off. "Of course. You know what I mean." But I wasn't sure I did. I requested copies of investor correspondence, pitch decks, term sheets. Nathan would promise to send them, then forget, then send partial information. The legal stuff is boring anyway. I'm protecting you from unnecessary stress. I wasn't being protected. I was being kept in the dark. Around month 14, Nathan told me he'd brought on a marketing consultant named Garrett to help with positioning. He's great. Really understands our space. When I met Garrett, he clearly thought Nathan was the founder and I was an employee. Nathan's building something special here, Garrett said. We're building it together, I corrected. I'm his co-founder. Garrett looked confused, glanced at Nathan. Right, of course, Nathan said smoothly. Eve's being modest. She's critical to the technical side. Critical to the technical side, like a skilled employee, not an equal partner. I started requesting formal partner meetings. We need to discuss strategy. I'm not just a coder, Nathan. I'm supposed to be your business partner. You're absolutely right, let's schedule something. The meeting would get pushed, rescheduled, cancelled. Nathan also started questioning my technical decisions. Is this architecture really the best approach? Garrett knows someone who... Garrett's a marketing guy. I'm the engineer. I know what I'm doing. I'm not doubting you. I just think maybe we should get a second opinion. He was doubting me, undermining my expertise while simultaneously relying entirely on my work. I also discovered that Nathan had been pitching without me. Big pitches to serious investors. Why wasn't I there? These investors need to understand the technical vision. You're so deep in development. I didn't want to pull you away. I'm a co-founder. I should be in the room. Next time. There was never a next time. I felt increasingly like I was working for Nathan rather than with him. The core betrayal happened on a Tuesday morning in June, exactly 18 months into development. Nathan called me, excited. We have a final pitch with Meridian Ventures tomorrow. This is the big one, Eve. Series A funding. I need you to prepare a technical demo. Tomorrow? Nathan, I need more notice. I know, but this opportunity came up fast. Can you pull together a 20-minute demo of the core functionality? I was exhausted, but this was what we'd been working toward. I'll make it work. Perfect. Meet me at Meridian's office at 10 a.m. Wear something professional. That last comment stung, but I ignored it. I stayed up all night preparing the demo, making sure everything was polished. I put together slides explaining the technical architecture, the novel approach, the competitive advantages. The next morning, I dressed carefully, professional blazer, pressed pants. I wanted to look the part of a co-founder, not just a technical employee. I arrived at Meridian Ventures at 9:45. The office was all glass and minimalism, the kind of place where million-dollar decisions happen over espresso. Nathan was already there, in the lobby with Garrett and someone I didn't recognize. Eve, great! This is Michael from Meridian's technical team. I shook Michael's hand. I've prepared a technical presentation. Actually, Nathan interrupted, I've decided to handle the presentation myself. Michael's here to ask you technical questions if needed, but I want to control the narrative. Something felt wrong. Nathan, we discussed this. I'm presenting the technical section, and you will if they have specific questions, but I need to own the whole pitch. Trust me on this. I didn't trust him. But we were standing in the lobby of a VC firm, and what was I supposed to do? We were led to a conference room. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seattle, a long table where 5 partners sat, waiting. Nathan launched into the pitch, and as he spoke, my blood went cold. I've spent the last 18 months developing revolutionary AI-powered project management software. I, not we. I. He walked through slides I'd never seen before, a pitch deck that presented him as the founder, the visionary, the creator. There was one slide near the end. The team. My name was listed as lead developer, not co-founder, not partner, developer. Nathan presented my algorithm as the proprietary technology I've developed. He explained the architecture using my words, my concepts, presented as his own. The Meridian partners were impressed, asking questions, engaged. One partner, a woman named Sarah, asked, "This is sophisticated machine learning. How did you build this yourself?" Nathan gestured to me. Eve here has been instrumental in executing my vision. She's an exceptional developer. Executing his vision. I opened my mouth to correct him, to say that I'd designed every algorithm, written every line of code, created this entire system from scratch. But Nathan gave me a look, a warning. Not here. Not now. Eve's fantastic, he continued smoothly. I couldn't have built this without her technical support. Support. The meeting continued. Nathan fielding questions, occasionally directing technical ones to me. Eve, explain the data processing pipeline. I answered, my voice barely steady. But in that context, I sounded like an employee reporting to her boss. The meeting ended with handshakes and promises to review terms. In the elevator down, Nathan was elated. That went perfectly. They loved it. I was shaking. You lied to them. What? You presented yourself as the founder, as the creator. I'm your co-founder, Nathan. I built this entire system. Eve, calm down. I positioned us the way investors want to see us. Trust me, this is how the game is played. By lying? By simplifying. One clear founder narrative is easier to sell. We'll split the funding 50-50 just like we agreed. But for the pitch, I need to be the face. You said I was your technical support. You said I executed your vision. That's just pitch language. You're being overly sensitive. We were on the street now, people walking past us. I felt like I was going to be sick. I want to see the term sheet before you sign anything. Nathan's expression changed, became harder. Eve, I'm the business lead. I handle investor relations. That's our agreement. Our agreement is that we're 50-50 partners. And we are, on paper. But in practice, I need to be empowered to make business decisions without constant approval. That's how startups work. Show me the term sheet. When it's finalized. He walked away, leaving me standing on the sidewalk, my entire reality cracking apart. That was the moment I stopped waiting for them to change. I went home and I didn't code. For the first time in 18 months, I didn't open my laptop to work on our software. Instead, I started investigating. I pulled up our original partnership agreement, read it carefully for the first time in months. The equity split was 50-50. But there was language about operational authority that I'd glossed over. One language Nathan had written giving him sole authority to engage with investors and make strategic business decisions. I'd signed it without fully understanding, because I'd trusted him. I searched for the patent filing, the one Nathan said he'd handled months ago. It existed, but I wasn't listed as an inventor. Nathan Cross was the sole inventor on the patent for the algorithm I'd created. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. I checked the company incorporation documents. Tech Forward Solutions was incorporated with Nathan Cross as CEO and majority shareholder. 60% to Nathan, 40% to me, not 50-50. The paperwork I'd signed, that Nathan had prepared, gave him controlling interest. I'd been systematically deceived. While I coded in isolation, Nathan had been structuring the business to erase me. I wanted to scream, to cry, to confront him immediately, but I didn't. Because I realized something. Nathan had underestimated me. He thought I was just a coder. Someone smart with algorithms but naive about business, about law, about strategy. He thought I'd accept my role, that I'd be grateful for 40% of something rather than fight for what I'd actually built. He was wrong. I spent the next 3 weeks building my case with the same methodical precision I'd used to build the software. First, I documented everything. Every email, every commit in the code repository, every piece of evidence that I'd created the software alone. The Git history told a clear story. 18 months of commits, all from my account. Nathan had never written a single line of code. And I also found backups of early conversations where Nathan and I had discussed the 50-50 split. Text messages where he acknowledged my sole creation of the algorithm. Then I consulted with a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, an intellectual property attorney who specialized in tech startup disputes. I showed her everything. "You have a strong case," she said. "The patent filing is fraudulent. The incorporation documents misrepresent your agreed-upon equity, and you have evidence that you created the software. What are my options? Several, but the cleanest is to file for dissolution of the partnership and claim full ownership of the intellectual property. Can I do that? You created it. The patent is fraudulent. The partnership agreement was based on misrepresentation. Yes, you can fight this." I also did something Nathan didn't know I could do. I locked him out of the codebase. I was the only one with admin access to our repository. I changed all the passwords, pulled the code into a private server and created a backup. Nathan couldn't access the software without me, and he didn't know enough about the architecture to rebuild it. Finally, I reached out directly to Sarah at Meridian Ventures. I sent her a carefully worded email explaining that there were material misrepresentations in the pitch regarding company ownership and intellectual property creation. I didn't accuse Nathan directly, just flagged concerns and requested a meeting. She responded within an hour. The payoff came exactly 1 week later. I'd scheduled a meeting with Sarah and 2 other Meridian partners without Nathan knowing. I brought my attorney and a folder of evidence. I walked them through everything. The Git history showing I'd written all the code, the text messages with Nathan acknowledging my creation of the algorithm, the fraudulent patent filing, the misrepresented equity structure. Nathan presented himself as the creator of this software. He's not. I am. Every algorithm, every line of code, every technical innovation he pitched to you, I created it. Sarah's face was stone. He told us he developed the core technology. He lied. I showed them the commit history. 18 months of development, all from my account. Nathan Cross has never written a line of code in his life. One of the other partners, a man named David, leaned forward. "Why are you telling us this?" Because any investment you make based on Nathan's pitch is based on fraud. And because I wanted you to know who actually created what you're considering funding. What do you want? I want to dissolve my partnership with Nathan Cross. I want full ownership of the intellectual property I created. And if you're still interested in investing, I'd like to discuss terms for my company, not his. They were silent for a long moment. Then Sarah said, "We need to verify this. Please do." They spent 3 days investigating. They brought in technical experts who reviewed the code repository. They consulted with their own attorneys about the patent and partnership issues. And then Sarah called me. "We believe you. We're pulling our term sheet with Nathan, and we'd like to discuss investing in your company." I felt this rush of vindication so intense I had to sit down. "There's something else," Sarah added. "And Nathan scheduled a call with us for today to finalize terms. We'd like you to be on that call." Nathan joined the video call looking confident, excited, ready to close the deal. Then he saw me on screen. His face went white. "Eve, what are you—" Sarah cut him off. "Nathan, we've learned some disturbing information about tech-forward solutions." "What information?" "That you misrepresented fundamental facts about the company's ownership and creation of the intellectual property." "I don't know what you're talking about. You told us you developed the software. Eve has shown us comprehensive evidence that she, not you, created every aspect of the technology." Nathan's eyes darted to me. "Eve, what did you tell them?" "The truth. This is insane. She's my developer. Yes, she wrote code. But under my direction." "The Git repository shows 18 months of commits, all from Eve's account," David interjected. "You've never committed a single line of code. The architecture, the algorithms, the entire system, all created by Eve. I provided the vision. You filed for a patent listing yourself as the sole inventor of an algorithm Eve created," Sarah said. "That's fraud." Nathan was scrambling now. "The partnership agreement clearly states—" "The partnership agreement you drafted misrepresents the equity structure Eve believed she was signing up for," my attorney said. "We have text messages where you explicitly agreed to a 50-50 split, which you then altered in the incorporation documents." Nathan looked trapped, cornered. "We're withdrawing our term sheet," Sarah said. "And we're reporting the fraudulent patent filing to the appropriate authorities." "You can't, this is—" Nathan was sputtering. "We can and we are. This call is over." Sarah ended the video. It was just me, my attorney, and the Meridian partners. "Let's talk about what a legitimate partnership with you would look like," Sarah said. The consequences unfolded over the next 3 months. I formally dissolved the partnership with Nathan. My attorney sent a cease and desist, requiring him to stop claiming credit for my work. Nathan tried to fight it initially, hired an attorney, threatened countersuits. But the evidence was overwhelming. Every technical expert who reviewed the code confirmed I'd created it. The fraudulent patent filing was indefensible. Nathan's attorney advised him to settle. I got full ownership of all intellectual property. Now, Nathan got nothing except an agreement that I wouldn't pursue criminal charges for the patent fraud. Meridian Ventures invested in my new company. I restructured as a C Corp with me as founder and CEO. I maintained majority ownership and full control. The software launched 6 months later under a new name, Foresight Project Management. It was successful. Not overnight viral success, but steady growth, happy customers, positive reviews. Nathan's reputation in the Seattle tech scene was destroyed. Word got around about what he'd done. Investors stopped taking his calls. The founders he'd networked with distanced themselves. I heard through mutual contacts that he'd tried to start another company but couldn't get funding. That he'd moved to San Francisco to escape his reputation but struggled there too. I felt no satisfaction from his failure, just relief that he couldn't do to someone else what he'd tried to do to me. Garrett, the marketing consultant, reached out to apologize. I didn't know the real story. Nathan presented it completely differently. I'm sorry I was part of that. I appreciated the apology. Some of the investors Nathan had pitched to reached out directly to me. We'd like to hear about your company, the real story. I took those meetings, built new relationships based on honesty rather than Nathan's manipulation. 3 years later, I'm 34 and running a company with 40 employees. Foresight is profitable, growing, and exactly what I'd envisioned when I first started coding in my garage. I've been featured in tech publications, not as someone's assistant or developer, but as a founder and CEO. And I hired an excellent business operations person to handle the parts of running a company I'm not good at. But I learned enough to never be taken advantage of again. I speak at conferences now about intellectual property protection for technical founders, about recognizing manipulation and protecting your work. My story resonates with people, especially women in tech who've had their contributions minimized or erased. I reconnected with my family. My mum came to our office opening, crying proud tears. My brother, who works in education, tells his students about me as an example of persistence. I've built a life that's mine, not controlled by someone else's agenda or manipulation. Nathan tried to reach out once about a year ago, an email saying he was sorry for any misunderstandings and hoping we could move past this. I didn't respond, because there was no misunderstanding. There was fraud, manipulation, and betrayal. And I didn't owe him forgiveness or closure. What happened with Nathan taught me something crucial. People will underestimate you if you let them. They'll assume your kindness is weakness, your trust is naivety, your focus is blindness. Nathan saw a talented coder who didn't understand business, someone he could use and discard. He didn't see someone who could learn business, who could fight back, who could beat him at his own game. That was his biggest mistake, underestimating me. If you were in my place, what would you have done differently? And don't forget to tell me, where are you listening from right now? This is Revenge by Eve, and your voice matters here.
Thanks for watching Revenge by Eve. Until next time, relax and see you soon.